to squeak out a quick gain at the end there, ending up 0.11 on the day, closing above that close from yesterday, 44.56. We're back up to 4461. Likewise with the NQ, able to squeak out a little gain there, 0.11, but the bulls will be definitely happy that this week is over. The CL contract crude up again, half a point on the day at 87 1/3. BTC also able to squeak out a quick gain there at 25,900, just getting a little bit below. You'll see the rates, the 10-year and the 2-year, both ending up positive on the day. Kind of unusual that the equities and the yields will both end up positive. Let's go over some of the equity names that we looked at today. DocuSign, this was an earnings winner that we mentioned in the morning. It sold off the majority of the day and it ended up red, down 3 2/3%. Apple, what a bad week it was for Apple today, though. Able to eke out a marginal gain to the high side, up 0.5%. It had been really fighting with that 180 level, but definitely ending up below that 178.5. Another bad day for Tesla, despite the good news that they've reached about 50,000 supercharging stations. Compare that to September 2012 when they had about 10. Intel, great week for Intel. It continues to benefit from its new focus on foundries. Today, news coming out that they will be making the chips for ARM. Keep an eye out for ARM's IPO next Tuesday. Make sure to mark that down in your calendar. AMC, what can you say about this all-time low? Sorry, apes. Down 11 1/3%. It was down 40% on Wednesday on news that it's offering another 40 million shares trying to raise capital. And here's the one that came in late, Dollar General. Look at that late move. We started here around 245, 215, pardon me, up 2.81% on the day, definitely outperforming the market. Was able to find out some information about this. Looks like the Renaissance Group is increasing their stake in the company by about 2%, 1.9%. They reported that in the first quarter. I guess investors taking note of that and definitely buying up that stock. But it was an interesting day today on these markets as we continue to head up here on the futures positions. Sean getting ready for his time. Make sure to hang out because Mr. Nos, the Nos boss, will be on and he'll be talking technicals with Sean. Sean's putting him on the spot too. He said, you got to have a trade for us. So Sean is ready. We're going to send it off to Sean.
All right, welcome everybody. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you, Sharif. That was a great job there. As we get locked and loaded, we will have Michael Nos on the show. Thank you for coming into the recap, and what an exciting day it was. I wanted to quickly have a quick look here at some of the ETFs. Why isn't this loading? Like, again, everything was loading fine, and now all of a sudden it's not. So let's just open this up here and talk about some of these ETFs that were moving around for us here today. So the S&P 500, the Select Spider Fund, again, nice move to the downside here, but we've been holding this 90. This is XLE, so yeah, energy. And again, what we're looking for here, I thought this was all locked and loaded, but let's just move it over and just get a quick look at what we're talking about. There's really no earnings here today, so we are okay. Unfortunately, I'm not able to log into my trading platform on this computer. It's funny because it gets fixed and then it doesn't all of a sudden, and then, I don't know. I apologize. Hopefully we can get logged in. No, it's okay. I just can't show any of the trades, or for some reason this isn't loading either. All right, get rid of that. But there's the XLE today, up 1%. This is a little bit different than what we were used to as well. Today, TAN again. Wow, what's up with that ETF? That just continues to make moves to the downside as well here. 55 and change, yuck on TAN today, as that one just keeps on going down. This is, again, a 5-minute chart. If you're going to look at a daily chart of these ETFs, let's just have a quick little look right now at this. Huge move to the downside again, starting to break through those levels. Again, the solar ETF keeps on having some problems with that. Gas today, UNG. We actually put that out on Twitter. Let me have a quick little look here at what's going on with some of these prices, because I tweeted it out just before we came on air right now. I still love this with those, not the halo, but these sort of shiny little things there. Where was it right here? Here it is right here, the price of gas. I actually thought $3.75 per gallon was kind of decent. Let's see what some of you said as well. There we go, that's pretty funny. Go EV and it won't matter anymore. You might be right about that. 197 euros, I guess, here for Luke. Well over $5 a gallon in California. Joseph here, what? 134 per liter, that's expensive in Quebec. I figure that's like $8 or $9 per gallon. That's like what we're doing here. 423 for diesel in Jersey. 375 per gallon, funny Americans, that guy must be Canadian. 185 there in Nova Scotia. Shout out to everybody on the East Coast. That sucks, man. That's expensive for sure. Dang, too high. $5 a gallon in Las Vegas. Expensive again. 682 in New Zealand. $5 in the Bay Area, 530 there in Washington. So, you know, as these gas prices continue to get higher and higher, you can see UNG today, again, this is nat gas, up 0.8. XLE, we talked about that. Oil, let's go on OIH and have a quick look at OIH right now. Look at this, breaking out to the upside again, the Van Eck Oil Services. Nice move upside there on OIH, continuing to go higher and higher. Man, that sucks. Like, I don't know what to think about this. Hopefully you're long oil. We've been talking about getting long on XLE, actually. XLE, not CLE, not Cleveland Cliffs, CLF, right there. We really like this bottom down there at 76 bucks. So that's been a really good long. And I said today on the morning show that, hey, why not have a quick look at what's going on with this name, because you're near the highs for XLE, right? And I know me and Michael, he's going to come on in a minute. He was like, you know what? I disagree. I think we're going to still hold this because it's breaking out. I don't have a problem with that. My whole thing is I want to try to raise a little bit of capital here heading into what I think could be a swoon in September. Although today, like we said, pretty decent day. Although I don't have the Qs on here. I don't know where those went going. The NASDAQ today was up, and we're still holding some of these levels. I'm looking to buy the dips on some of these names, right? If the NASDAQ can get pulled back in, I want to raise a little bit of cash, and I think I'm going to do that with oil because we've been long this name. We've taken a lot out. There's a dividend associated with a lot of these oil names, so you're getting paid for the ride. I just like this move back. I mean, back in July, we were down here at 78. I mean, July, if you go back to the beginning of July, you're sort of down here at 77, 78. So up to 90. Not a bad move, ticking as high today as 92.66 on the XLE. So again, pretty good name there. I keep got to check my, call car. Okay, so my wife right now wants me to call her an Uber. We're going actually to Dumb Money tonight. So that's going to be a GME story here. So I'm going to have to get that car called here for her in just a minute. We'll get that going when Michael Noss comes on, which is now minutes away for that. But anyways, XLE, I really like that. All right, let's go over. That's a little bit of sector recap there. I mean, we can go over, let's go over the Qs one more time because, again, we're still pretty close to highs. I mean, it is a nice little drip down there. I'm expecting to find some support in and around 360, 361. Again, with the numbers, economic numbers coming out next week with CPI, we could see that dip happen if the number is a little higher than what's been expected, because the Fed has come out and said that they're going to be data dependent. So the more data dependent they are, I mean, I'm not liking that look. If it's not great, they're talking about only one more rate hike. Could it be two? I'm hoping not. We actually had a report that the Fed we could be down at this time next year. I think it might have been by May, down 225 points. That would be absolutely fantastic, and that would help, obviously, a lot of these growth names get back to their highs, which they're getting close to it as well. We had Apple actually fall on its face a little bit over the last couple of days, but then we found that bottom. We found that bottom again on Apple. It just keeps on holding this 170. I'm nervous if we obviously break below. There's a little bit of a gap here where we've sort of supported 170. You break below that, we're definitely, I mean, that's probably the, what is that, the 200 period again? My layout's all been changed over here. Yeah, that is the 200, so I'm glad for that. So we do have the 200 period SMA right there at 164. That's kind of an area that I'd like to start buying some Apple. I'd love to get some more at 170 and then down here to 164. But again, I was sort of saying this, forget who I was talking to. If you're going to buy Apple, you might as well buy the market at some point, right? Because then you get exposure to Google, Tesla, Microsoft, not just Apple. So I don't know, no point in being in single stock risk right now from what I can see. I'd rather just buy an ETF or buy, well, which is the Qs, right? Buy the index. I think that's going to be a decent play coming through for them. All right, so let's go over quickly. I did want to talk a little bit about some of these meme names. So let's go over to the next topic right there. And we're on there right now with AMC and GME. we've been shorting it, and I know my friend Michael Noss is waiting in the wings right now, but AMC has been a little bit of a disaster to the downside, and we've been looking at that. So look at this name just continue to bleed down. Unfortunately, I can't log into my trading platform, but we were short all day on AMC today, and it only really fell apart once we broke, once we broke lower here on AMC. So there's $8. We started to break lower. We actually have the low tick today at, well, we don't have that low. What was that? What happened on that one right there at 1 o'clock? We missed that at 7:10. We actually got this fill right there at 7:16. So we were shorting all day. Was a little bit of a rough ride there. Let me just zoom. Every time I zoom back out, I miss it. But we had that short up there at $8 today, and then it just fell right back in. That is AMC. And then, of course, like we said with GME, GME's had a hard go of it as well since earnings. Let's go back over to the daily chart on GME as well. Quickly. If you're watching this, my wife, I'm going to get you your car in a minute. There's the GameStop earnings, obviously, yesterday. Nice move back down to 16 and change, trying to go a little bit lower on GME. So, look, unfortunately, this looks like we're running into the same kind of a problem where you're getting into that $16 level. That looks like an issue. Without any further ado, I'm just going to get right over to it. Let's go over to the next topic, and let's bring in Michael Noss. Can we hit the trade talk? Actually, my stream deck's not open there, Ramin, so why don't we do that? I mean, mine's going to be open right now in a second. All right, I get it. What's up, Michael? I continue to have a couple of issues here with things, but thank you so much for helping me with all the layouts for trade ideas. It's been fantastic. And I know that I've seen some tweets from you about AMC, and I know that we weren't really going to talk about it, but I'm sure you're well armed with all this kind of stuff. I didn't like it when we broke $10 because realistically that was that dollar mark after the reverse split. If you have any trades on or what you looking at for AMC, do you see any levels where they could possibly bounce off or anything?
I think there's some support at zero, maybe on AMC, but personally, I can't hold this thing short as a swing trader for any length of time. So I see you guys day trading it. I've taken a couple shots at it. You can see it up here on the screen on the weekly chart. If I trade it, I have to trade it very, very small because, you know, looking at this weekly chart, yes, this thing's down from a split adjusted $600 to $7. So, you know, that kind of removes the possibility that this is ever going to get back to where it was before. But along the way, you see a pop, again, it's all split adjusted numbers from 135 up to 350, and then from 112 up to 250. So this thing can bounce substantially. So I don't think it's just as easy as kind of shorting it to zero. However, I'm certainly not going to buy this name because what happens is when you have a stock kind of fall apart like this is you have just bag holder after bag holder after bag holder. And I always put myself in the shoes of a new trader. We've all done it. We all know we shouldn't, but we've all held a stock and said, man, if this ever gets back to my break-even price, I'm going to get out. And we've had that that happens to us so much. So you got to think something for AMC that has been bleeding now for over 2 years. How many people are, you know, sitting at $200 and says, man, if this ever gets to $200, I'm out, or $400 or $600. And then that's just the big numbers. What about, you know, guys now that are at 10 or 15 or 20 or 30? There is just so many people who have a reason and an objective to sell that I'm really not interested in ever getting involved in this other than maybe for a really short-term trade. Now, this is why I trade with the trend, right? Is because when I'm buying a stock and that stock's breaking out to new multi-days or multi-week or multi-month highs, the sentiment in it is way more positive, and you don't have those bag holders that are just looking to sell it at a moment's notice. So, you know, the trend is your friend, and the trend in meme stocks for years have been to the downside.
Yeah, and that brings me, I mean, great call there. There still are so many bag holders probably just waiting for that, and who knows when they're going to get liquidated. I mean, unfortunately, next stop might be a lower market. Shout out to the OTC markets. We saw BBBYQ there with Bed Bath & Beyond, you know, head to the downside. And it's funny because there's that name Luckin Coffee. I don't know if you've been looking at that, but that went down there at $3 or $4, and now it's trading at the OTC market $30. So they don't necessarily all go there to die, but we'll see what happens with AMC. Okay, Michael, all day, well, not all day, maybe just the afternoon, I was teasing that you were coming on, and I was going to hope that I could put you on the spot a little bit now and say, you gave us that great uranium breakout call, which has been absolutely fantastic on URA. You've given us a lot of ideas. But I was sort of thinking that sometimes we talk about maybe something that's already happened. Is there something, either a breakout or a trade setup, that you're looking to put on that could happen maybe Monday or Tuesday, or something that's looking interesting that our viewers can take a look at over the weekend?
Yeah, all kinds, right? You can't go to a party without chips. I always say I can't come on any of these shows without charts. So I've got charts to rant about for ages. So the first one I have on the screen right here is VLO. You were talking about energy and how strong that was when you were doing your sector wrap up there. This one I really like because it's got a very clear level up here. This is a weekly chart. So we're going back to 2022, I think, right back in this area. And you can see, call it 145-ish, give or take, depending on the zone. But you can see every time we hit that, we bounce off. We've smacked it like 5 or 6 times now, and we had a massive up move. And a lot of this happened today. And I love relative volume. So we got 2 times normal volume on this thing as it's bumping its head above this zone. I think if it breaks 145, you're going to probably at least get 150, and through 150, who knows. If we are going into another, gas is going to get more expensive, oil is going to get more expensive. It's one of those things that it sucks when you're at the pump, but it hurts a little bit less if you have some oil stocks in your portfolio to at least make you some of that money back.
I mean, I really, really like that Valero call there. I mean, I've been holding, I'm just looking it up right now. It's looking great. Again, up that huge move today, up 4%. So looks like it does want to break through there. We did mention that. I actually saw that in Nova Scotia, someone tweeted it out to me that it was 185 a liter there at the pumps. That sucks, man. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on in this world, but hey, it doesn't matter. When you're reading charts, and that's the other thing, right, is that, sure, you've been long oil. You're looking to stay on that. Me and you talked about that earlier. I'm looking to get a little bit off because I really do like the run. But when you're playing an individual name as opposed to the whole sector, obviously you can get going. And I really like that Valero call for sure. Anything that's maybe not in the energy sector that you're looking at?
I do. I've got a couple names. These are going to be a little bit more speculative.
Okay.
One of them, I kind of know what they do. The other one I don't. One is INOQ, and this one's been a big darling for a long time. You see I have my chart marked up from way back here. This is basic Weinstein stage analysis, which I know is the most boring thing for most people, but I love it. And that's basically just how the market moves, which is generally through uptrend and then distribution, decline, and then downtrend, and then uptrend again. And it looks like this whole area on INOQ may have been this accumulation zone, and now we're trending higher. So this one's really, really interesting. Now, the level that gets me very interested in this one is 20 bucks right here. So you can see on the chart, we have pretty much a double top right at 20 bucks. It traded up there a little bit ago and then rejected 20 bucks, sold off. And then 3 days ago, it tried that 20 bucks again and then failed. So for me as a swing trader, I want to see a nice close over $20. Now, one of the benefits of this has got a 15% short float. So that's not insane, but like I talk about all the time, if you have a large short float like an AMC or something and you're going down, it doesn't matter because those shorts are making money and they're doing fine. This INOQ has gone from 5 bucks to 20 bucks in the last little bit. So if you're short this thing, unless you're short at exactly $20 a share, you are really, really worried, and potentially those worried people, they have to cover their shorts and they have to move on. So I think 20 bucks on this is your clear level. If it closes over 20 bucks, I'm going to be interested in owning it. If it gets back under 20 bucks, then I'm going to run and look for the next thing.
I like that. And yeah, plus not only do people sometimes get nervous, they're just forced to cover, right? They get liquidated, and liquidation is normally market orders. So you could definitely play that and get some, movement to the upside. All right. This is really putting you on the spot because it's not a name that I messaged you about or anything like that. And because we talked about this, the CMT, let's go. Li Auto, LI. So I was looking at this today. We were talking about it on the show. I'll give you a second to maybe call up your charts. Come over to my screen quickly here. So we're going to look at Li Auto. Here it is on the 60-minute. I feel like, Michael, this is breaking that 38. You've seen some real weakness in NIO, which is NEO, XPeng, XPV as well, coming through. Li Auto's actually done pretty well holding up. But look at this, man. This $38 level goes all the way back to mid-August. It looks like it's going to break. We're well under the 200. Looking like, I mean, again, these charts are pretty bare for me right now, but looking like it wants to take this lower. And then I'm thinking, honestly, this 35 could be the next sort of area for support after that. And I know it's only about 10% down if you get that. But if this doesn't hold, I also think that you have some economic reasons with some of the problems there in China and some of the rhetoric that's coming from over there. You know, will there be, I mean, in China, they're banning the iPhone, right? I mean, they're trying, not banning it, but they're talking about not having their government officials look at that technology, look at Huawei and things like that. So I don't know. I don't like what's happening there with Li Auto. What do you think about that chart? I just, if you're going to play the trend, it looks like it's to the downside. I like a break there of 38.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you kind of wholeheartedly on this one. And if you go to, yeah, my chart here, like $40. So if you sit back and you zoom out for a while,
yep,
$40 seems to be a massive level. That was the blow off top that happened a while ago. After that, it just collapsed. It hit $40 again and then collapsed down to 15, and then it overshoots 40 again, and then now we're trading under it for a number of days, like 4 or 5 days now. So if you wanted to take a speculative short against it, I think, you know, any kind of strength over $40 is time to go. But if you know, sometimes it makes a lot of sense to sit back and just look at this thing. And I don't know what's happening internally, but to me, it looks like either the company is selling shares or there's a large shareholder selling shares. And they've almost just picked $40 as, you know, I want to get out here and away you go. Then you're going to have the people who step short, the people like me who've noticed that it's bounced off here a few times. So for me, if this is under $40, there's absolutely no way you can hold it. If we get back above $40 and you really like the name, then I think that's your time to enter, which is what I love about technical analysis. You can combine any idea that you want, any reason that you may like the stock, then you just wait for your price. So for me, it'd be like a weekly close over $40 if I was interested in the name, but it's just so range bound and choppy that I'm not going to touch this guy.
All right, so we're gonna have you back on next week. We're gonna double check on Valero. We're gonna check on IONQ, and then I'm gonna check on Li Auto as well. Everyone can find you on Twitter at Michael Noss CMT or X. Should we say X? I guess we got to change that little logo. We have the little birdie there. Actually, I like the X logo. I don't know. What do you think about that logo?
It seems weird to throw that much. I'm going to call it Twitter, I'm sure, forever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting. It's new anyway. It's shaking it up, I guess.
It's something. All right, enjoy your weekend. We're going to check with you back next week. And remember, Trader TV 20 is live. Grab 20% off trade ideas with that code. Thank you, Mr. Noss. Say hi to the family.
Thank you for having me.
Ciao. That was Trader Talk. All right. Thank you, Mr. Noss. And again, you know, what a great guest. It's awesome to have be able to throw a name out at somebody, throw out an idea, and then instantly get justification on, you know, what he's looking at and why, right? And so we've been talking about Li Auto for a while here on the show. I just want to get his opinion, and I really like that Valero take. I'm actually still a shareholder in Valero. That was one of the names that I've been buying for a while. I like Valero, Chevron, XOM, of course, Valero more in the refining business, right? So that's going to be a good name to look at. All right, I don't have my trade platform up right now, so I can't show you kind of the trades that we were doing today, but I was going to talk about Nvidia just real quick because the level that I really like here is 450. I thought there was a chance we could see that today, so I was a little bit stubborn trying to hold on to some of these trades. We'll open up a 2-minute chart here on Nvidia, but look what happened throughout the day here on NVDA. You know, we were short, so this breakdown right there of 460, that was like, these are the levels, and this is what we want to be here for every single day as a prop trader. When big levels are tested, upside, tested again, back, right? Look at these. These are all lower highs. So boom, in, you know, there again. So that next time when it broke, we actually missed this breakdown, which really sucked. I just wasn't looking at it. We were into AMD and all that. This is only at 10:30. Should have had that breakdown. Might have had a small piece, but I don't remember it being significant enough because would have loved that move all the way down here to 453. But this is actually, I think we had the short into here when we finally broke that. So that was a good short breaking the end of the day. But I really think that missing that 460 was something special. We should have had that, but there's the break back in. Then we shorted into here, right? It came back up into this 458 area that we liked. We kept on shorting it. Then, guys, we got stopped out. So we're going to slap a fail on the stop out of that trade. But the thing about it was it came back for us. And then once we got under VWAP and we got under this 200 period, under the 50 period, then we felt much more comfortable about shorting and had Nvidia in our pocket the rest of the afternoon. We actually, if you were watching, and again, I apologize, can't log into the software here. Just a nightmare what's happening on this computer, to be honest with you. We actually had to trade out our other system yesterday, but it just didn't break, and we were really lucky because we kept on getting out here at 454, 453, and then at the end of the day, we got a 455 breakout, which was great because our short was up here from 458. So the whole point of what I was getting at was you do miss early trades all the time, right? But when levels come back and they give it to you, and then you have some technical reasons, like I mentioned, the 50 period and VWAP. Once the stock got under that, we had a little bit of support, which gave us confidence to trade that name. We only have 4 minutes left, so that's going to be a perfect opportunity for me to get to my next segment, which of course is going to be, let's just say, oh, there it is. I have a roll call. Let's check out who's here with us today. So we'll go over to the live chat. Who's here and who's not? Hey, Dirty Jersey, I remember you in the chat on our regular show. Thank you for coming here for the after show. We have a lot of fun on here. We just gave you 3 trade ideas: Lee Auto breakdown, IONQ on a possible squeeze through that level, and then of course the biggest and the baddest of them all, Valero. I really like that one, squeezing a little bit higher as well. So shout out, Darwin's here right now. Who else is here right now? Matt's here. Hey, Matt, man. Thank you for everything. This guy's tweeting at me as well all the time. Canadian Bacon is here. Derek Thompson's here. If you can, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe. Every time I risk manage, I will now imagine putting $100 in my pocket. I think that's a great idea. Go Pack, go out of Floyd Lawson. I think Jordan Love this weekend against the Chicago Bears going to have a little bit of a problem there, that's for sure. Let's go back, man. I'm not done roll call. Yo, shout out Chef Joe, my friend Jeff. We were talking about fantasy football. Shout out to Chef Joe. You got one right there, my guy. I'm going to come see you, man. Times Square. We're going to come see you there. Thanks, Sean and Michael. Great show. John is here. Rich Naples is here. AK, thank you, Canadian, again from the East Coast. I'm not going to forget you. Bears versus Bulls, the best in the business. Go Detroit Lions. Hey, good game, but let's be honest. Hey, look, a win is a win, right? But I can't believe that pick 6. What's up with Kadarius Toney on that one? Ottawa is wonderful. I agree with that. Shout out to Larry's here as well. And you're welcome, Sunil, man. I don't ever want to stop doing this until they kick me out. So it's going to be like, we talked about that Peanuts where you get like the, and they pull you off the screen with the cane there. That may happen one day as well. Tay2 certified. What's up? To you in the chat. There it is right there, this thing there. All right, so that's roll call a little bit. I do want to go to Stock Blitz. Is there any names quickly that anybody wants me to look at? We'll check out the chat here. We'll look at that real soon. But as I take a look, let me go over to something that Bears vs. Bulls prepared for me every single day. And here it is right now. Thank you so much for fan funding. It's super chat time. Larry Summers, Greg, Ian Trading, Laura Rogers, John G. Sheffield, Rocker, Hamptons Trader Long This, and a couple new members today. Investigation Bible with Bill Kaufman, okay. Steve Kozak and Jean right there. Thank you so much for everything. What else we want to do? ZS, Zscaler. Let's go Zscaler. Put me on the gun here, under fire with Zscaler. Look, I'll talk about Zscaler because why? I really like Zscaler just because of where we are with it, right? It's in the right space, all right? Zscaler last week, again, came out with earnings. Not the greatest. Let me go to the daily chart here so we can see the earnings. That's from today. But there it is right there. Earnings came out this week, right? And we're just at the top. So for me, for Zscaler, I keep talking about this. It's in the right space, right? You've got it with computer programming, with Cybersecurity was Zscaler, so that's something that we like. If we just pop this out right now, we can check out what their earnings report was all about last week. And here you go. This is the profile page here from Trade Ideas. Again, it's a good one. Earnings per share, always nice to get a name like this that's actually earning something. 64 cents right there. Short float, 7%. Not bad. That could spark it to the upside as well. Breaking out through new levels. I think you're okay in Zscaler, honestly. Look at this. You're getting the 200 period starting to loop up. So you're starting to turn into a smiley face there again. I like that. As long as you hold this 150, I think Zscaler goes back to highs. So right now we're going to take out this 166. I think that's only a matter of time. Again, good potential on this name. We've seen names like CrowdStrike and PanW make moves to the high side as well. Look at Crowd breaking higher. Why can't Zscaler? And then again, the best of the best in Palo Alto. Again, I don't know why it's showing earnings like every day is right here, but it's not earnings today for PanW. This is where earnings hit. They had a bad report. They thought it was going to be a bad report because it was on a Friday, but then boom to the upside goes PanW. Look at that, right back to highs again for this name. So I feel that going into earnings, Zscaler could have beat, which they did. They could have taken out that 166. We're going to look for that to do that. But again, heading into an election year, heading into some of this rhetoric that I hear from China and Russia, I don't like that. I think internet security is all the rage. I like Cisco, I like Palo Alto, and I like Crowd. But thank you for asking about Zscaler right now. We're done. We're going to go see Dumb Money, man. It's at the Toronto International Film Festival. Today's its very first premiere. So hopefully we can see some Seth Rogen, maybe some Pete Davidson on the aisle. If I get a picture with them, you'll be able to see that at TraderTV Sean on Twitter. Other than that, man, it's going to be a very, very busy weekend. We've got both kids have events. I'm coaching Little League tomorrow. My daughter's at hockey, I think 4 hockey practices this weekend, which is absolutely insane, along with a parent dinner tomorrow night as well. It's going to be nuts. But I'm excited. Look, spend the weekend with the ones that you love. That's the most important. And if not, have fun regardless. Anyways, I'm Sean Katina. Thank you for watching the recap show. I'm back Monday at 8:30. Have a good one. Ciao, everybody.